Some songs don't just play, they stay. They sit in your chest for days. You think you know reggae music, you think you know the sad songs, but some of the most heartbreaking music ever recorded.
But I can't seem to find
never got the recognition it deserved. Some of it was buried, some of it was forgotten, and some of it came from pain so real. The artist never recovered. This is not a party playlist. This is roots music at its deepest. From the streets of Kingston to the dance halls of London, from the golden years all the way to now, 10 songs that will stop you in your tracks, 10 songs that carry real stories, real struggle, real tears.
and I just can't refuse it, man.
And at least one song on this list you always thought was just beautiful music. Wait until you hear the truth behind it. Stay with us. This is the countdown that real reggae fans have been waiting for. Number 10, Jimmy Cliff, Many Rivers to Cross, 1969.
I've been lit, washed up for years.
Close your eyes for a second. Picture a man, alone, standing at the edge of something he cannot get past. Not a river, not really. Life, just life.
Merely survive because of my pride.
That is exactly what this song feels like the first time it really hits you. And I mean really hits you. Not when it's background music, not when it's playing in a shop, but when you're sitting alone one night and the lyrics land right on your chest and you think,
Thinking of committing.
wait, that's me? That's exactly where I am right now. Jimmy Cliff wrote this song in 1969. He was still a young man, but the pain in his voice sounds ancient.
I find myself thinking of committing.
It sounds like it came from somewhere deep, somewhere a 20-something shouldn't even know about yet. The production on this track is something special. It's not loud, it doesn't try to grab you.
Some dreadful cry.
It just opens a door, spare arrangement, simple instrumentation, a few strings that feel like they're crying along with him, and then that voice that reaches up and breaks just at the right moment. The song talks about a man who is tired. A man who has been trying and failing and trying again. He's washed up on the shore, he says. He's crossing rivers he can't even see the other side of. And still, and this is what gets me every single time,
Many rivers I've crossed. It was so.
he refuses to stop. The song was produced in Jamaica and later became one of the most powerful moments in the 1972 film The Harder They Come.
Truth is my redeemer. Sorrow is my companion.
That film changed everything. It took Jamaican music and put it in front of the whole world, and this song was one of the reasons people stayed in their seats quiet, feeling something they couldn't explain. Here's something that might surprise you. When Jimmy Cliff recorded this, he almost didn't include it. He felt it was too personal, too exposed. He'd written songs before, performed before crowds, but this one felt different.
Find myself thinking of committing.
This one felt like handing someone your diary and saying, read it, judge me, know me. He put it out anyway. And thank God he did. Now here's the truth about why some people don't know this song the way they should.
My way over.
The reggae world by the late 1970s was moving fast, new sounds were coming in, and Jimmy Cliff himself, as talented as he is, never quite got the same level of coverage as some of his peers. The song was there, it was always there, but the world didn't always look in the right direction. If someone you love is going through something hard right now,
Wandering up in love.
send them this song, not a text, not a voice note. Want this song? Stay with me, because number 9 is also Jimmy Cliff, and it might be even more emotional than this one. Number 9, Ken Boothe, Everything I Own, 1974. Picture this, 1974, a front room somewhere in Brixton, curtains half drawn, and then this comes on the radio and the whole room just stops. Ken Boothe. One of the greatest voices Jamaica ever gave the world, and this cover of the David Gates and Bread original became something else entirely in his hands. Something deeper, something that felt like it was always meant to be a reggae song. Produced by Lloyd Charmers and released on Trojan Records in the UK, the arrangement is warm and unhurried. A slow, heavy heartbeat of a rhythm, and Booth's voice sitting right on top of it, not showing off. Not over-singing, just feeling every word. The song is about loss, about a man who would give everything just to have someone back. And the way Boothe delivers it, you never question for a second that he means it. Here's what still amazes me. This went to number 1 on the UK singles chart in October 1974, not the reggae chart, the main chart. A Jamaican man with a reggae record walking through the front door of British pop music. To talk to you and yet today, most people under 40 have never heard his name. That's the tragedy. The door opened. The industry just didn't hold it long enough for him to walk all the way through. Tonight, find this song, sit with it, and you'll understand exactly why it's on this list. Number 8, Culture, International Herb, 1979. Now we move somewhere different, somewhere darker, somewhere that feels like a warning. Culture, led by the great Joseph Hill, was one of the most spiritually serious bands in all of roots reggae. And when I say serious, my life is not above it. I mean it. Joseph Hill didn't come to play. He came to testify. International Herb might surprise you on a list about heartbreak. You might be thinking, wait, isn't that a lighter subject? But listen to the way Joseph Hill sings it. Yeah, if I was the president. Listen to what's underneath the song. There is a grief there. A grief about people who are suffering, people who are locked up, people who are criminalized for something that was part of their culture. Their faith, their daily life. It's not a party song dressed up as a roots song. It's a lament dressed up as something easy to listen to. When the album International Herb came out in 1979 on Joe Gibbs's label, and the production has that classic late 70s roots feel, heavy bass, crisp rhythm guitar, and that unmistakable Channel 1 studio sound. What are we talking about? That made Jamaica feel like the center of the world. Joseph Hill's voice on this record is something else. It's worn, it's urgent, it's like a man who has been trying to get someone's attention for years and is running out of time. And that, my friend, is the heartbreaking part. Because Joseph Hill passed away in 2006, and when he left, he took something with him that no one has been able to replace. Culture carried on with his sons, and they are talented. But the weight of Joseph's voice, the spiritual authority of it, was one of a kind. The fun fact here is that Joe Gibbs produced some of the most important reggae albums of the late 70s And yet today his name doesn't ring with the same recognition as, say, Lee Scratch Perry or King Tubby. Gibbs shaped the sound of that era significantly. This song faded partly because it was never given the reissue treatment it deserved. Roots reggae as a genre was being pushed aside by the early 80s as dancehall started taking over, and culture, as brilliant as they were, eyes weren't built for that world. They were built for this one, the one we're visiting right now. Number 7, The Paragons. The Tide is High, 1967. Before the pop version, before the 1980 chart hit that everyone knows, before all of that, there was this. If you've only ever heard the Blondie version, and there's no shame in that, it's a great song, then you need to do yourself a favor tonight. You need to find the original 1967 Paragons version, sit with it, and listen to what got lost in translation. Written by John Holt, one of the most gifted songwriters Jamaica has ever produced.
It hurts me bad, but it's the way you do the things you do.
The Tide is High was recorded for Treasure Isle, the legendary studio and label run by Duke Reid. And the feel of it, it's tender in a way that's almost painful. It's a man who is not demanding, not chasing, not threatening, just asking gently, hopefully, with everything riding on the answer. That kind of vulnerability is rare in any music.
Every man wants you to be.
In 1967, Jamaica, putting that out on a record took something real. The Paragons were one of the premier vocal harmony groups of the rocksteady era. And rocksteady, that slow, cool period between ska and reggae, is one of the most emotionally rich chapters in Jamaican music history. It's also one of the least talked about. Here's what gets me. The Paragons sang this song beautifully. I'm gonna be your number one. John Holt wrote it from somewhere honest. Duke Reid captured it perfectly. And then the world sort of moved on. Reggae came in. Rocksteady got left behind. I'm not the kind of man who gives up just. And it wasn't until Blondie picked it up more than a decade later that millions of people heard the melody, but not the original soul behind it. Gives up just like that. No. That's not Blondie's fault. They did their version, but something was lost. Something quiet and Jamaican and personal. The original is a forgotten gem hiding in plain sight. Number 6, Bob Marley and the Wailers. Slave Driver, 1973. Now we go somewhere heavy. I need you to really hear me on this one. There are songs that make you cry because they're sad, and then there are songs that make you cry because they're true. Slave Driver is the second kind, and it hits different. This came off Catch a Fire in 1973, the first major label release from the Wailers on Island Records. Chris Blackwell took a chance on this album and the Jamaican sound, and it changed popular music forever. But this track specifically, it doesn't ease you in, it doesn't comfort you. It grabs you by the collar from the opening bars and it says, you are going to feel this. Every single second of it, Bob Marley is singing about slavery, not as history, as memory, as something that never really ended. The crack of the whip, he says. His blood runs cold and you believe him because the way he delivers that line, controlled, low, serious, it doesn't feel like performance. It feels like he is remembering something that happened to his family. Every time
time I hear the crack of a whip, my blood runs cold.
The production here is important. Island Records gave the Wailers a slightly more polished sound for international audiences, but this track still has the roots, rawness. Underneath, the bass is heavy. The rhythm is deliberate, and Marley's vocal doesn't reach for emotion. It is emotion. This song was not a singles chart hit. It was an album cut. And back in 1973, album cuts from a Jamaican artist
Catch a fire, you're gonna get burned.
rarely got radio play outside of specialist shows. In the UK, the pirate stations and the sound system culture were the real distribution network for music like this. Here's the detail I love.
Every time I hear the crack of
A Catch a Fire was packaged in a unique Zippo lighter sleeve, an artistic choice by Island Records to make it feel like something special, something you'd remember holding, and it worked. The album has never gone out of print. But Slave Driver specifically gets overshadowed by the bigger Marley anthems. No Woman, No Cry, Redemption Song,
fire, you're gonna catch a fire.
One Love. People don't always dig into the deeper cuts, and this one rewards digging. It rewards sitting quietly and letting it land. Number 5, Bob Marley, Redemption Song, 1980.
By the hand of the Almighty, we forward.
I need to tell you something about this song that might change how you hear it forever. Most people know it as a beautiful, hopeful song, an acoustic song, a simple song, and it is all of those things. But here is what was happening when this song was being recorded.
Ourselves from mental slavery, none but ourselves can free our mind.
Bob Marley was dying. He had been diagnosed with cancer, acral lentiginous melanoma, in 1977. He had refused amputation of the affected toe for religious reasons, and by the time Uprising was being completed in 1980,
Minds have no fear for atomic energy.
his body was failing him. He was losing weight, he was in pain. He performed his last ever concert in Pittsburgh in September 1980. He died in May 1981.
Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, none but ourselves.
And Redemption Song, the last track on his last studio album, was recorded in the shadow of all of that. Now listen to the words again.
While we stand aside and look.
Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? He's not just quoting Marcus Garvey. He's not just making a protest song.
Redemption songs.
He is leaving something behind. He is handing you something to hold after he's gone. That is not a song. That is a goodbye. The acoustic arrangement was stripped down deliberately.
We've got to fulfill the book.
No full band, just Marley, a guitar, and the truth. And in that simplicity, in that nakedness, you hear a man who has nothing left to hide.
Freedom, 'cause all I ever have.
Now here is where the controversy lives in this song, and I told you earlier I'd get to it, so here we go. After Marley passed, the question of his estate, his music rights, and his legacy became one of the most complicated and painful stories in music history. His will was disputed. His children, 11 acknowledged children, were caught in legal battles for years. The rights to his music were managed through 56 Hope Road Music Limited and Island Records, and there were long,
Therefore, atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop.
painful fights over who controlled what. Some people in the reggae community felt that the commercial machine around Bob Marley, the t-shirts, the posters, the licensing, stripped some of the spiritual weight from his music. That Redemption Song became a brand instead of a prayer.
redemption songs.
In interviews, members of the Marley family have spoken about the difficulty of protecting his legacy while also making it accessible. There are different sides to this story.
Redemption songs. Redemption songs.
Some say Island Records did right by his music. Others say the commercialization went too far too fast. What I know is this. When you sit with Redemption Song and you know what was happening to the man singing it, it stops being a song on a playlist. It becomes something else entirely. It becomes the most heartbreaking 3.5 minutes in reggae history. Or so we thought, because the top 4 on this list are going to test that. Number 4, Peter Tosh, Equal Rights, 1977. Bob Marley was the heart of the Wailers. Peter Tosh was the fist. And this song and the title track from his 1977 album is the fist hitting the table and not moving until someone listens. Equal Rights is not a gentle song. It doesn't ask politely. Peter Tosh had been through things, real things, and this music carries every single one of them. The album was produced by Peter Tosh himself and released on Virgin Records internationally and Columbia Records in the U.S. For a roots reggae album in 1977, that was significant distribution. The label saw something in Tosh that they believed could cross over, and the music itself is remarkable. That title track, the opening rhythm, the brass, the weight of it. And when Tosh opens his mouth and says what he says about everyone deserving equal rights and justice, not as a slogan but as a demand, you sit up straight. But here's the heartbreaking part of the Peter Tosh story. And it goes beyond the music. Peter Tosh had been beaten by Jamaican police in 1978, badly beaten.
And justice, yeah, equal rights and justice.
He spoke about it publicly, even on stage. He wasn't afraid to name it, to call out the system, to point fingers at power. He smoked herb openly in front of prime ministers. He challenged everyone. And on September 11th, 1987, Peter Tosh was murdered.
When you run to the sea.
3 gunmen entered his home in Kingston during a robbery. He and 2 others were killed. He was 42 years old. When I tell you this song is heartbreaking, I'm not just talking about the melody.
Where you gonna run to? Down the prison.
I'm talking about the fact that the man who sang loudest about justice didn't get any. Now, the album Equal Rights is now considered a masterpiece of roots reggae.
The sea will be boiling all along.
But in 1977, it sat in Bob Marley's shadow commercially. Marley was the global face. Tosh was the uncomfortable truth that mainstream audiences weren't quite ready for. And the industry, then as now, doesn't always have space for uncomfortable truth.
I said you can't run, but you did.
This song deserves to be heard by every person who ever felt like the rules didn't apply to the people who made them. Number 3, Bob Marley and the Wailers. War, 1976.
And permanently discredited.
This song has one of the most extraordinary origins of any track in reggae history, and most people have no idea the lyrics, almost word for word, are taken from a speech.
Until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance.
A speech made by Emperor Haile Selassie I of Ethiopia to the United Nations General Assembly in 1963. Alan Cole and Carlton Barrett adapted the speech into song form.
But a fleeting illusion to be pursued, but never attained.
Bob Marley and the Wailers recorded it for Rastaman Vibration in 1976, and the result is something that sounds like music but functions like scripture. The speech itself was a warning to the world.
War in the East.
Haile Selassie stood before the most powerful nations on earth and said, "Until there is no more first-class and second-class citizens, until the color of a man's skin means no more than the color of his eyes, there will be war."
Yeah, subhuman bondage, yeah, has been toppled. Yeah.
He said that in 1963. And Marley put it in a song in 1976, and here we are now. The production on this track is atmospheric and heavy. The rhythm pulses like a heartbeat, and Marley delivers the words not as poetry,
Not no peace. We Africans will fight.
but as prophecy. There is no joy in this vocal. There is no lightness. It is pure, controlled, righteous grief. The song was never a mainstream chart hit. It wasn't designed to be. It was designed to sit in your chest and not leave. Here's the detail that still moves me.
And until that day, the African continent.
Haile Selassie I was regarded by Rastafarians as a divine figure, the returned Messiah, the conquering Lion of Judah. So for Marley to take Selassie's words and build a song around them was an act of deep spiritual devotion. Not just music, worship. War faded from mainstream attention partly because it's not an easy listen.
We don't.
It doesn't resolve, it doesn't comfort you. It ends with the same weight it begins with, but that's exactly why it belongs on this list. Number 2, Jimmy Cliff, The Harder They Come, 1972.
Fly up in the sky, waiting for me.
We're almost there. And before we get to number 1, I need you to feel this one properly. The Harder They Come, the title track, the song that became a cry for every person who was told they weren't enough, who was told to stay in their place, who was told the system was too big to fight.
Lord, one and all.
Jimmy Cliff wrote this song for a film. The film was about a young man from the country who comes to Kingston with dreams and finds a world that was not built for him. He makes choices, bad ones, and eventually, surrounded by police,
They've gone, one and all.
outnumbered, outgunned, he chooses to go down fighting rather than surrender. He dies, but he dies on his own terms, and the song captures exactly that. It's defiant. It's aching. It's a man who knows he might lose everything but will not bend.
Harder they come, the harder they fall.
And what makes this heartbreaking is not the sadness. It's the joy inside the sadness. The way Jimmy Cliff sings it with this gospel lift, this shimmer of triumph. Even though the story ends in death,
Making me feel like a clown. And they think that
he wins by losing, he lives by dying, and somehow that feels more true to the Jamaican experience of that era than almost any other song ever recorded. Produced at Dynamic Sounds in Kingston, released in 1972, this track helped introduce reggae music to international audiences in a way that had never happened before. The fun fact
the harder they fall, one and all.
is that the film, low budget, locally made, went on to become a cult classic that screened in universities and art cinemas across the US and UK for decades. It didn't go wide at first. It spread by word of mouth.
And they think that they have got me on the run. I say,
Just like the music itself, it faded from mainstream charts because it lived in a world of its own. It was never designed for radio. It was designed for truth, and truth has its own timeline.
All right, C-Trends fam, let's keep it real. We're pouring our hearts into bringing you the best celebrity news and music deep dives. What? Check it. A massive 98% of you aren't subscribed yet. Subscribing is how you can truly support us, helping us grow and create even better content. If you're vibing with what we do, take a sec to hit that subscribe button. It's free and makes a huge difference. Plus, ring that notification bell so you never miss out. Let's flip that 98% and build this C Trends family together. Your support is everything.
Number 1, Burning Spear, Carry Me, 1975. Here we are, the top of the list, and I want you to know I thought hard about this. I could have put any of the songs we've talked about here. Every single one of them deserves it. But when I sat down alone and thought about the one reggae song that makes me stop everything, the one that reaches into something I can't name and pulls it out of me, it was this one. Winston Rodney, Burning Spear, 1975 Marcus Garvey album, produced by Jack Ruby and recorded at Channel One Studio in Kingston. Carry Me. This is a spiritual song, a plea, a man asking to be carried not because he's weak, but because the journey has been too long, the burden has been too heavy, and he is asking his ancestors, asking Africa, asking something bigger than himself to take him home. There are no pyrotechnics in this vocal, no runs, no showmanship. Burning Spear sings the way a fire burns, steady, serious, impossible to look away from. The Marcus Garvey album is named after the great Pan-African leader and philosopher Marcus Mosiah Garvey, born in Jamaica in 1887. Garvey's ideas about black pride, about returning to Africa, about the dignity of African people, they run through this entire album like blood, and Carry Me is the emotional center of it all. Jack Ruby's production wraps around Burning Spear's voice like a river. The rhythm is hypnotic, the bass is tidal, and when the harmonies come in, the Wailers-style backing vocals, it's like the ancestors actually answered. Here's the fact that puts this into perspective. Marcus Garvey himself once said in a prophecy, "Look to Africa for the crowning of a black king." Rastafarians interpreted that as a reference to Haile Selassie. This entire album sits inside that tradition, that history, that longing. Carry Me was not a hit song. It didn't chart. It didn't get played on mainstream radio. It lived in the speaker boxes of sound systems, in the listening booths of record shops in Brixton and Handsworth and Notting Hill. It was passed from person to person like a sacred thing, and that is exactly what it is. The reason it faded from public view is simple. Burning Spear, as one of the most critically respected artists in reggae, has always been more appreciated by those who go looking than by those who wait for music to come to them. He demands attention, he demands patience, and that's not a flaw. But that's the whole point. This song will not play in the background. It will not let you scroll your phone while it runs. It will stop you. It will ask you something without using words. It will make you think about your people. Whoever your people are, where they came from, what they carried, what they lost, and then it will make you cry. Not because it's sad, because it's true.